Hi there, my name is Steve Gerhardt, and as always, this is the Unagi Observer. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching the video. This is a labor of love for me, so I'm glad that you're here. I am directly back from GenCon. Literally got back from the airport about a little less than an hour ago. Got the laundry going. So this video is going to talk about GenCon 2026 and some of the games that I played. Just to get into, just to let you guys know, I'm only going to give you a brief description and how much whether I like the game or not. If I want to continue playing the games, I'm not going to dive into the actual game mechanics. I think that's a little much for this video. But let's go ahead and start with just the overall Gen Con 2026. Okay, so for those of you who have been watching the channel for a while, know that I go to Gen Con everywhere. I started about 6 years ago, I think. And I've been enjoying it every single year. I am constantly amazed by that organization, and this year was no exception. So just kind of a brief idea. If you haven't been to Gen Con before, this is a very well organized and incredibly large convention, gaming convention, with some other fandoms are in there as well. And yeah, it is very, like I said, very well organized. So this is not going to be like your hometown anime con or anything like this. There's over 70,000 people that go to this thing every year. And it pretty much dominates downtown Indianapolis, all the hotels, the whole 9 yards. I mean, this is a big deal. This thing generates a lot of revenue for the city of Indianapolis. One of the nice things about it is that it is directly in the middle of downtown, so you have access to many things, stores, restaurants, CVS, stuff like that. Like, it's literally like you walk out the door and it's just maybe 2 or 3 blocks away, whatever it is that you need. So it's very centrally located. It's easy to get back and forth, and traffic is really not that big of a deal, even with construction going on. It is Indianapolis, so things are a little bit different. When you're from Baltimore, DC, traffic is like, ugh. In Indianapolis, not so much. So the organization, they really train up their people very well. When you look at the website, you kind of see that. You see how you start out at a certain level, and then if you keep going, you will get higher responsibilities. And there are people that have been there for probably 20 plus years that are doing this, that do this every year because they love it. And that's the other part of it, is like, every single one of the volunteers, every single one of the people that are running things, department heads, tech, lost and found, which I'll get into in a moment, whoever it is, these people care about what they're doing. They believe in Gen Con. This isn't just somebody going, well, I'll work 4 hours and then I get to go to the con for free. Yes, they get to go to the con for free, and yes, they work X amount of hours, but there's a genuine desire to be and love to be there and doing and being helpful. And I think they really do train up everyone to make sure that everyone is as helpful as possible, as polite as possible, and as informed as possible. And clearly they take people's strengths and put them where they will be best at. I believe, when I was in stadium meeting rooms 8 and 12, and I had the same tech person for each one. And that person was straight up just came in, just, hey, are you doing all right? Is it good? Is everything hooked up? Oh, you know what? You need to do this thing. And okay, is everything better? Is that where you want it? All right, cool. All right, I'm just gonna be running around. So if you see me, just grab me. Very nice, helpful. You don't feel like you're left on your own with an HDMI cord that may or may not work. So, very helpful. Again, just like, I just can't stress enough the amount of organization and problem solving. Every time I walked by something and I just kind of happened to overhear somebody having a problem about bleh, and I had a couple problems, somebody was there going, okay, well, either let me call somebody in, and on the radio they are. Where are you at? Okay, I'm gonna send this person over to you because they got a question I think you can answer. Okay, they're gonna be on their way. By the way, do you know where to go? I'm gonna head in that direction. You want to come? Do we show you where? I mean, literally, it's just like helpful. When you go to cons and you kind of get people who have the sign just because. Don't ask me questions, please. Don't hurt me. Otakon, I'm looking at you, and. When you don't have that, but you have helpfulness, it just makes for a better con experience. My one drawback to this convention didn't even have to do really with Gen Con, but with my own stupidity, I guess, is I lost my power cord. Brent, thank you for getting me another power cord. But yes, I lost my power cord, and I went to Lost and Found, and not only were everyone empathetic, but they're like, okay, give me your name. What is the exact thing that you're looking for? Exactly. Like, they asked me questions like, does it look like this? Does it have any of these things on it? Does it have your name? A lot of questions to make sure that they have the right thing. They got my name. They got my phone number. Which do you prefer? Voicemail, text. However we find, if we come across it, we're going to text you, or, however you want to do it. And everyone's just really empathetic. And I went to the place 3 times just on the off chance, just maybe somebody dropped it off there. And each and every time I dealt with somebody, a different person, but each person had the same kind of like, oh shoot, well, I hope it shows up, and if it does, we'll get in contact you as soon as possible. Now, if we don't, here's the things that you need to do. And they, listed it off, and then they got stop for a moment just to see whether or not you processed that. And if they feel that you didn't, they repeated it. Outstanding. And one of the people who had a greater problem than I did of losing something, which is a couple that had lost, I believe it was a Cloudo ring, I think it was. And, well, maybe not financially valuable, but certainly sentimentally invaluable, right? It just has a lot of meaning behind it. And the guy just took care of him. And the dude was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Look, let's get the thing. Show me the picture. Can you send that picture to me? Because, we want to make sure to do the thing. And again, if you're not here, if, we have to give it to the convention center, make sure here's their numbers. Here's the information you need to do. I really hope you find this. And, I'm so sorry this happened to you. And we're pulling for you. And I was just like, dude, can I hire you for my store? I mean, it's just like that. That's what it was. And I'm like, and I kind of felt like a little dip coming on, have you seen my power cord? After that, right? But they were just so empathetic, and just like, if we find it, we are going to get in contact with you. We're going to figure this out. And then I turned to my right and I saw this organizational chart of things that they have found, where to put them. Everything's in its place. So it's not just like this box of things. Here you go. Do you find it? Is it in there? No, they have a place for each type of thing. You lose a water bottle? Well, here's all the water bottles. You lose a power cord? Here's the power cords. You lose a ring or jewelry? Here's the rings and jewelry. Here, everything has its place. And you realize that the reason why they're so organized is because it makes it easier for everybody to be able to say, is this it? Yeah, that's it. Okay, great, good. So, GenCon, well done. Again, just kudos to their organization. So I could go on for the next hour and a half about these guys and how well they do. So every year this thing gets packed. There's a card holla where you actually have all these extra playing cards that people are willing to get rid of, and you create these towers and things, and at the end of it, for charity, you get to have little kids throw things and knock things over. It's really kind of fun thing that they do year after year after year. Dealer's room was really jam-packed. We made the mistake of going on Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning, right when they opened up, and it was like sardines in a can. But it was a lot of fun stuff going on in there. I got some swag, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. Yeah, and panels were good. By the way, to those of you who saw my two panels, Anime from the Discount Bin and the cyberpunk dystopia in gaming and anime, thank you so much for coming by. I had a great time in both panels. Everyone was just kind of into it, and just kind of great interaction. I really loved it. Thank you so much. So successful panels for my part. Very, very happy about it. And so the dealer's room was interesting. Of course, all the panels were good, and being able to walk around and find things and just try new stuff. And I found I'm not sure if it needs a Kickstarter or if it's pre-ordering yet. I'm going to have to look it up online. But there was this beautifully made Ranma 1/2 game, which is basically Othello rules, and but in Ranma 1/2 fashion, and I fell in love with it. So if I can find out if it's pre-order, I'll let you guys know, because it really is a beautiful looking game. Speaking of swag, let's just go ahead and get into the swag. So a nice little hack, by the way. It seems like it's out at the outset a lot of money, but it really kind of, when you stop and think about it, it's like, yeah, you're paying a lot of money up front, but then it kind of is helpful. This is the GenCon. There we go. um, you know, somewhat plasticky cup that you get refillable, and it was $23. And you go, oh my God, $23 for a cup? Okay, so here's the thing: instead of spending $6.50, $7, whatever, for any soda or whatever it is that you're going to put in this ginormous cup, you spend $2 refilling it. So while you're not probably going to get your $23 fill in 4 days, because that's like 24, 25 refills of this, it still knocks down the cost for you quite a bit. Because if you stop and think about it, getting 4 waters can exceed, just getting 4 bottles of normal sized water can exceed the cost of this, right? And one of the nice things about the convention center is that there are plenty of areas with which to take your water bottle and fill it up with water for free, right? Okay, now you're seeing the benefit of this, right? So it's kind of durable, and I'm gonna have this for a while until I use it until it falls apart. I just kind of really like it. Look, it's kind of a little bit of a delicious in dungeons kind of vibe to it. Oh, let me just show you this. So this is what the badges look like this year. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Kind of see that? All right. So always a kind of like a fantasy motif kind of thing going on there. And that barcode you see there, you can buy tickets online, and you don't have to have paper tickets. You can have that on a barcode, so somebody can scan your barcode, and then that counts the ticket. All right. So in the dealer's room, what did we get in the dealer's room? We got stuff. So this year I didn't get a lot of games. Like I said, I saw the Ranma one half game, and I was on a budget this year. But I got some stuff. So anime related, I got Pat Labor, Early Days OVA for Blu-ray, because I don't have it on Blu-ray, and my current DVD is getting old and worn and stuff. So there's this, and so I think I'm gonna enjoy watching this. That's right. I wanted to show you show you guys this. So the program, boy, do they do a job on the program. Now, there's a lot of corporate sponsors that come in here, but again, that's like what it looks like on the cup, and you get a lot of different information in here. Free. So you walk in and you just pick it up. It's free. Throw that on the bed. In terms of actual gaming stuff, we were given just, people kind of give you free stuff. So we found this free card game. The only problem with this is that when we hit the QR code to figure out the rules, they're kind of incomplete, but you can get free stuff there. So that's kind of the point I'm trying to make here. And I have Dice of Disappointment that the pretty lady who gives me food has gotten me, but now that I'm doing more and more RPGs, I need more dice, right? So, I got this really nice set from Mythic, the Seal of Yog-Sothoth. So it's kind of like a Cthulhu kind of thing going on here. There you go. And that box is magnetically sealed, so obviously everything goes into the box. So I can keep them separate from the Dice of Disappointment, which is always one of my favorite sets of die. And then there's a sort of little bit of a tradition for Brent and I to go visit certain vendors, because they have certain things that we like. And we buy Pulp Fiction books, and because they're just so over the top and amazingly bad or amazingly good sometimes. So we got the Book of Robert E. Howard, Volume 1, edited. Some other stories in addition to Conan the Barbarian. So we got that. We have, throw that on the bed. Tarzan and the Lost Empire, Edgar Rice Burroughs. This is one of the more classical Pulp Fiction-y kind of things that you can find out there. And I just love these cover arts, that particularly for this brand of stories. Let's see here. And I got this one just because, it's a chimp sitting on top of an elephant with a Winchester. It's called Brainwave. Right? There you go. And last but certainly not least, I totally got this, again, just like the cover, H.P. Lovecraft and August Derleth. So it's really by August Derleth, but inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. But wait until you see this. How can you not? How can you not have this, right? So that is kind of the swag that I got this year. And yeah, so that was pretty cool. Some notable things about Gen Con. They have um enclosed in the parking lot between Lucas Oil Stadium, which is a part of Gen Con every year, and the actual convention center is a big parking lot where all the food trucks are. And you can get everything from Filipino, Korean, Japanese, barbecue, a lot of barbecue. If you like barbecue, you're gonna be happy. And there's some things, and I think you'll see a picture of it somewhere. I'm recording this for the first time as soon as I had gotten home. And that is the ice cream donut. And when you see this thing, it is glorious, but I can only have one of them once a year because they're sugar bombs, but they're so good. But yeah, these are things that you can do. Then you can take them into the stadium, sit down in air conditioning and eat, because the stadium is open to Gen Con. And so they have down on the floor, or down on the field, which they put a plastic covering over top of the playing field, the football field where the Colts play. They have a whole bunch of different matches and things, Magic the Gathering and things like that. So a lot of contests and things going on. And it is also the home of the game library. And the game library is, we're going to get into it because that's where we play most of the games that I'm going to talk about, where Brett and I spent literally a day. We go there, we find games. I pick one, he picks one, and we play it. And we kind of analyze it. We play it a couple times to kind of get a feel for it and to see if we like it or not, or if it's too complicated or whatever. And it's a fun thing that we do. It's kind of a way to round out the convention experience for gaming. So that's always cool. Now, an interesting thing to note, and I'm going to, before I go into the descriptions of of the the games, I'm also going to put a little video of just of various pictures and things of what they look like at Gen Con. So we had to shelter in place in the stadium, like actually go to a tornado shelter within the stadium because a tornado warning hit Indianapolis while we were at the gaming library. So you'll see that in the video of just like people just like in the back hallway of Lucas Oil Field Stadium. And just everyone's just kind of standing around going, okay, we've got 30 minutes before they all clear. All right, what do? We just stand here. So yes, we had a tornado watch warning. We had to evac in place, or shelter in place. So I thought that was kind of fun. All right, so yes, Gen Con was a very positive experience. At the end of this video is going to be kind of just a small video set to music so you can get an idea of it. And let us talk about some of the games that we played. Oh, and by the way, Gen Con, awesome. Okay, and so let me talk about some of the games that we played. Brent and I go down to the games library and we pull these games and we take a look at them. We play them and we see what we can get, what we glean out of it. And some of the games, sometimes we buy the game, sometimes we don't. Sometimes they're just like, oh my gosh, what is this? I don't get it. So anyway, so here, I believe 8 or 9 or 10 games that we played. Again, I'm not going to go into the game mechanics because that's just going to take too long. But I'm just going to kind of give you an idea of what's going on here. So let's go ahead and start, shall we? All right, this board game is called Thunder Road Vendetta, and it kind of looks a lot Mad Maxian. Basically, it's about 6 board panels that kind of look like a road, a stretch of bad road, and you can flip them, and they have different things happening in the lanes. And so your job is to get one of your cars from the beginning to the end, whatever you decide how many tiles you want to play. And so you have basically 3 cars, a small, medium, a large, and a helicopter. And the idea is that you can lay traps. There are hazards. There are things that you can't get around, things that other cars can slam into you. You have a chopper that can shoot. You can't really destroy the chopper, but that's okay because it actually has sort of limited use. But when you do use it, it's fairly destructive. And this is a fairly easy, fast-paced game to play. It's easy to understand, and it's quite enjoyable. And we discovered that a lot of people enjoy this game because, there are 5 expansion sets to this, so different types of things going on, different activities you can do. And so, like there's things like oil slicks and bombs, mines, wrecks, things you have to avoid. And you can bump into a car, you can shoot another car from another car. Oh, my laundry. And those are things that you can do. And to make sure your other player doesn't win. So, there's actual little bit of strategy that goes on to this game. We really enjoyed this game. We enjoyed playing this, and we could totally see how we could go through like all 5 expansion sets and in one go and just play the game. So yeah, 2 thumbs up on Thunder Road Vendetta. Okay, Metro Runner. This one was a little bit disappointing. The art is great. It's interesting looking. Like there's a reason why we picked this up to play it. Unfortunately, what happened was we feel that they decided to take 2 different types of games and meld it into one. And while the instructions were somewhat confusing, you could figure it out after a while. But we realized that we were playing 2 games simultaneously, and it just wasn't working. So one game is kind of like you're going around picking up cubes to spend to be able to do your jobs to gain points, and at the end of it, of course, after a number of turns, you add up your points, and whoever has the most points wins. But at the same time, you have this cyberspace hacking thing that you're supposed to be doing at the same time, that you can do at the same time. And it seems like it's a whole nother game. And each game in and of itself seemed fine, okay, but when you tried to put them together, it just didn't work. So we actually didn't finish playing this one. So yeah, too bad. Looked good. Unmatched. This is kind of a fun I should probably do something about that beeping, should I? So yes, Unmatched is basically a card game. Well, not a card game. It's a small board game. It's pretty small, and you have a couple characters and retainers. In this case, you have a couple fighters, Oda Nobunaga from the Warring States periods, and you're basically dueling against each other in this game. You have some tokens, you have some cards that you play, and of course it's a combination card dice thing going on. And it's a fun little game. It doesn't take long to play, like 20 minutes, if that. And it's fun in terms of strategy and movement. So there's nothing really dull about this. And then we came to discover that Unmatched, this one particular one's called Sun Origins, is that they make a whole bunch of different ones of these where they bring up people from history or fictional and pair them off against each other. So you can buy different ones. So we thought that was kind of interesting. This is really good for like a quick pick me up game. Like if you're at the airport and you got like an hour or not even that, and you can just quickly set this up and play a game and be done with it. And so we were impressed with it, and it is a very attractive game. So yay, kudos. So I kind of feel bad on this one. This one is it's a beautiful game. It visually stunning, and I think it's called Canvas. And basically, you're playing an art game, and you're putting together paintings to win a competition. That's kind of the thing. The interesting thing about this is that you have like a small little play area of things that you can get. They're transparent with a little image on it, and what you're supposed to do is create. You have a background image already in your hand, and what you're trying to do is put like 2 or 3 more transparent images that overlay each other to create a painting, and then you just sort of follow the rules on how they are judged and how many points you get, and you play like 3 rounds, and the person with the most points, meaning the ribbons, wins the game. Visually stunning. This is great if you have kids who are interested in art and you want to play a game with them, and it's fairly simple and straightforward, and it's very visual, and it's just I totally see playing this with my niece and nephew. So if you're looking for a game to play with your kids, if you have any, this is the one. Yokai. Okay, this is a memory game. It's straight up memory game, and you get 16 tiles. You play some 4x4, and the idea is without communicating verbally or with motions, um, where the same type of yokai are. So there's like basically 4 different colors. You can see that on the tin there. And the idea is that you play that through a number of moves, and you have cards that are hints to help you communicate where things are. So you're trying to match up all the yokai, same type of yokai, with the other same type of yokai. And so it's a memory game. So you kind of have to figure it out and somehow communicate without communicating where things are. So it's a cooperative game, really easy to play in terms of just setting up and just doing it. And the gameplay, depending on how good your memory is, can be pretty short or pretty long. So again, this is another one of those games where it's just like definitely a travel game where you can, or not, maybe not a travel game, but something that's just kind of easy. If you got like half hour to kill, you just bring this out and you just do the thing. Very simple, attractive, and a fun short game. Not something I would play over and over and over and over again, but this is definitely something like 2 or 3 games before you do something else. So yeah, we enjoyed playing this one. Okay, Don Quixote, the ingenious Hidalgo. So if you know the story, you know he Don Quixote went after windmills thinking they're dragons or monsters or whatever. So this is a again a semi cooperative game. Kind of looking at it, and the rules are a little hard to understand, but once you get playing in them, I was just kind of looking for an example there. But once you get starting to play it, then you get the idea. And what you're doing is you're moving counters. So each player has a card of what you're trying to win at. So if you have a heart or a hat of some sort, and you want your heart symbol to be able to finish and get as many points as possible, you get the idea. Kind of a confusing little bit of game, but great quotes from the book. But once you get into the rhythm of it, it's pretty fun. It's a very attractive game. Not sure if this is something that I would pull out at a party. I think this is kind of one of those niche games where you have to kind of know the joke a little bit. You have to kind of know who Don Quixote is, not to play the game, but to appreciate it. So maybe this is kind of a maybe category. Jaws, as in the movie. We had a great time with this game. This is a fun game. This is not something you play repeatedly back to back, but this is like if you have 3 or 4 people and you sit there and you want to have a good time. If you know the movie, you can shout quotes at each other, that kind of a thing as you're playing. There's 2 parts to the game. You can play one part and not have to play the other if you want to do that. But I encourage you to play both parts of it. So the first part is oh, and by the way, the packaging has a feel of that it comes out of the 1970s, like right after the movie came out. This was actually developed in 2019, so this is a not that old of a game, but it's got that feel, 1970s feel to it. So the first half of the game is that you're actually on the island of Amity, and you're one person actually plays Jaws. I played Jaws, and the other people are supposed to play the other characters, Hooper, Quint, and Brody. And so then you kind of try to track down the shark, me, and there's certain rules that you have to obey by. And what ends the first chapter, the first part of the gameplay, is if you're able to get 2 barrels stuck into the shark, and then you flip it over, the game board over, and you start on the second part, which is you're aboard the Orca, which is Quint's boat, and that's the final battle. If you know the movie, the shark keeps coming at the boat, at the Orca, and he keeps trying to eat all the people on there, and that is the second part of it. Gameplay is pretty good. It is fairly quick, easy to understand, fun. Boy, is this fun. And yeah, definitely if you're a fan of the movie, you know the movie. This is just, I mean, you're gonna be shouting things at each other, just like, "Oh, I think we're gonna need a bigger boat," because part of the second part of the gameplay is like actually as the shark, which I played. Um, you can destroy the boat. Like you can actually destroy the boat, and then once people are in the water, different rules apply, and that's kind of fun because you get to get as the shark go in and eat them, eat the people. Almost got to eat Quint in the game. Anyway, so this one was a winner. 2 thumbs up. If you come across it, please give it a try. It's pretty good. Okay, this next one is Koi. And this is one of those, over the past like 3 or 4 years, I've been seeing more and more of these types of games of kind of like garden pond games, or very Asian themed kind of relaxing games. There's still competition. You're still trying to do something. Still trying to make more points by the end of the number of rounds, whatever it may be. But it's a calming game. It's very, there's not a whole lot of "I'm gonna screw you over." So koi, you are koi fish in a pond, and you're trying to eat dragonflies, and that's how you score points. And you have a number of rounds that goes through it. You have cards that tell you um which way you can move your fish in the hex, and how far do you go, and that kind of a thing. You can jump over things. You can place items on the board, but then there's this kind of like all equalizer thing where it goes through 7 rounds, and then you have to redo it, of weather, what's called weather, and each one says, okay, for this turn, you have to do things this way, or you change the board in this manner, or you add more things with stuff like that. So, um, once you get into the groove of understanding how to play the cards in your hand and how to move your koi, it actually becomes a really fun game, and it kind of becomes fun, like trying to move your fish around in terms of the cards that the directions give you, and to try and win the game. I won the game, but only on a technicality. Realistically, I felt that Brent pretty much won this game, but I think it was just like we had a tie, but he was just like outpacing me so badly at a certain point, and the fact that I was able to catch up was kind of just weird. But we decided at a certain point to stop the game, and we were tied, and it told us, okay, well, if you're tied, here's the thing. I just happened to have more cards than he did, and so that was not my intention. That's why I say technically, but still a fun game, a very calming game. Visually very, very, very easy to look at. This is a longer game. Now, if you decide to do what we did, which was cut it off at a certain point, great, because I think there's like 40 rounds to this game. And so, that might take a long time. So, choose your own edit, I guess, is what I'm trying to tell you. But it was a very nice game. Don't know if this is something I'd buy, but it is something that if somebody were to have it and they said, hey, let's play this, I'd be up for it. It was a card game, and I'm probably going to mispronounce it. It's a Japanese game, or a Japanese name. Ohanami, I think that's what it is. It's a gardening game. So you build a garden, and the idea is you have 3 different rounds that you go through. One, you get the points off of blue cards. Second round is blue and green, and then the last round is everything. And the idea of this is that you take 2 cards that you want, then you exchange your pack of cards to whoever, to the left or right, whatever the instructions say, and they take 2 cards out of that. You get the idea, and you pass cards around. So everyone, it's a way of like mixing things up, and you do that every round, and you place cards down, and there's numerical value. Now, on that numerical value, you have to, you can't, like for example, if you have a 10 of lotus, and you have a 9, you have to put it underneath the 10, and you can't go above the 10 if that's the highest card that you have. So you have to work within that range. So you can't put cards in between. You have to work with what you got. So your cards could look like 10, 9, 2, right? And that's what you have to work with. I'm probably not doing a very good of explaining this, but this is definitely an airport, what I would call an airport game, where if you had like, you had 30 minutes before you needed to really do anything, you could whip this out. It's just playing cards, and you do the thing. It's a gardening game. It's fine. But it's really just kind of a pass the time kind of thing. And yeah. So again, not a game that I would personally buy, but if I were to happen to be waiting for something, or we're, about to do something, we have time to kill, someone pulls this out, yeah, I'd be up for it, for playing the game. Unfortunately, there was another game that I failed to mention here. I don't have a picture of it, and I'm kind of forgetting the name of it. So unfortunately, I'm not going to mention it, but it's basically a card-based game of Japanese battles. It was an interesting game, kind of confusing. But yeah, I unfortunately don't have that information for it. So we had a lot of good games on this one. and that we played, that we enjoyed, and I hope you check these out and let me know what you thought of these games. So yeah, that's what we do every year. Brent and I go out and check out these games and play them and kind of talk about them a little bit afterwards. And we really do spend an entire day. I think we spent like 10 hours playing a lot of these games. So the ones we really liked, and the ones that we were like we were really so but that's part of Gen Con and going to the game library. So if you go to Gen Con and you have not been to the game library, please avail yourself of that. It is a lot of fun. And you can find some people there. Prosd was there again. If you know who he is, he's the dwarf in Delicious in Dungeon and the voice of Aramaki in the new Ghost in the Shell series. So you always kind of see some people in there, some game designers and stuff. So yeah, it's worth going. All right, so that's going to be it for the games from the game library. Okay, so that is it. I hope you enjoyed the little video, the descriptions of the games, and my always flowing praise for Gen Con. Again, just a wonderfully well-crafted, well-staffed, organized event that I'm enjoying going to year after year after year. Go Gen Con. Okay, we're looking towards 2027. Of course, I'll do more panels. Brett and I will be doing more panels in 2027. We're trying to do a sort of like one-day convention with a convention for anime folks that also come to Gen Con as well. And yes, it was a lot of fun. Gen Con, thank you so much for all that you do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a long one. And that's going to be it for this week. Next week, I forget what I'm going to talk about. I think we're going to talk about an old anime that I've actually pre-recorded before going to Gen Con. So yeah, so be good. Stay healthy because I love you guys. And I want to see you guys out in the world sometime. And yeah, as always, watch more anime and play games.